It's showtime. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
Watson takes a snap, rolls right, looks into the end zone. Hunter Renfro caught it. Touchdown! Touchdown!
Welcome to WrestleMania!
It's now my honor to announce that the first ever virtual NFL draft is officially open.
Blitz coming. Mariota throws in the end zone. Man is there. Touchdown, Titans!
I'm hopeless in the crossfire. There's nowhere to go. I'm holding my desires. My heart overflows. The only direction that I'll ever need is a deeper connection that's leading.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Xperts of Racing SportsCast here live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. For those joining in later and joining us right now, thank you for joining us here on the SportsCast. Of course, we have the regular partners in crime in the booth being Robert Harding and Terry Radford. How are you guys doing? And insert cricket.
Yeah.
Whichever
he
one.
normally goes first, so I guess. Hey, I'm Robert Harding. So
he's having. I think Terry's having problems waking up right now, but it's okay. We still love him. Terry, how are you doing over there?
7:31 in the morning here in Korea, and I would rather be stabbing you in the face.
Well, you can see how peachy Terry is to be up. Mama Vol's already in the chat. Hey y'all, hey Mama Vols, thank you for joining us here right now. Here, we also have a very special guest in the booth. Last week we had Ben Smith, and now we have everyone's favorite community member, Mr. Rock NASCAR. He's going to be joining us later in the show for interviews, but he's in here right now. Rock, how are you doing, man?
Doing good today, gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me. Sure appreciate it.
Definitely. And love all that you do for the community as well. Definitely hope that you get all that you deserve as far as what you do for the community and what the community does for you in return. So we hope that you have fun on today's podcast as well. But without further ado, gentlemen, I think the introductions are out of the way. How about we hop right into our first order of business, being the National Championship review. Robert Harding was the play-by-play on the call as far as our watch party the other night, as well as friends of the podcast, Hokie fan Hoffman, and of course I was there as well. And it was a very interesting game, Robert, overlooking these number one and number two teams. I mean, it looked to be a pretty one-sided game towards the later half. After being a shootout for a good portion of the beginning. I mean, what was your mindset during that game as you were calling it?
Yeah, it was actually a really good game, even though it was fairly one-sided. But there was a lot of ups and downs. You know, at the end of the game, we saw Devontae Smith go out due to a wrist injury, not being able to return. No, it was finger injury. Same thing, different place, whatever. But it did kind of surprise me that Ohio State did not put up much more of a fight, even though they were down a few guys. Justin Fields was hurt a little bit, but it just seemed like they didn't put up as good as a fight as they should have. Their offense actually did click on all cylinders pretty well most of the night, but their defense kept on just allowing so many touchdowns from Alabama to where they just could not keep up.
Overlooking that, definitely Alpha Hardy in chat saying next topic, please. Well, of course, we just got Robert's opinion on the game. Of course, we're going to go over more of what happened in depth as we continue on. But Terry, before we get to your opinion on what happened in the game, there's a certain clip from last week's episode that I want to play in regards to Mrs. Mama Voles in the chat and a certain apology that might need to go out. Check this out.
It's weird. I have an Ohio State fan in the chat. We have an Alabama fan in the chat, clearly. Mom put roll tide roll in the chat. Well, Mom, the tide is going to get rolled. Ohio State defensively is better than a Notre Dame team in which Alabama struggled against. Alabama has an offense that's about it. Their defense is mid-par. Yes, it's easy to run the SEC. They barely got around Georgia. Georgia got a battle between them and Cincinnati. I think Ohio State wins this game, and Ohio State's going to win this game on multiple fronts. Their offensive line plays a little bit more physical than the Alabama's defense does. They have Alabama struggles.
Right there, you can see from last week. That was the prediction from Mr. Radford. And Terry, what's your response from the prediction last week and what happened? What actually happened this past Monday night?
All right, so I was wrong. It's an opinion. It's just like an asshole. We all have one. My opinion was wrong. But what I'm saying is they lost an offensive lineman. They lost their running game early in the game, but they came punch for punch with Alabama. And they kept coming until it just got too much. They lost too much. They lost way too much on that team. So, yeah. Piss off with your clip right there.
I was about to say Mama Voles was expecting him in chat. She's having a field day over there. But, I mean, overall, like you mentioned, I think Ohio State, they could have brought more of a punch in this game. I think Justin Fields was I think he was still dealing with that injury that was dealt to him in the Clemson game, despite it being a pretty large gap. They also lost a considerable amount of depth within that defensive line, including 2 starters at defensive tackle, 1 defensive end. So I can see definitely where Ohio State was playing. If they weren't the underdog heading into the game, they were more likely the underdog as the kickoff actually went into the air. Alabama, go ahead.
I don't think that Ohio State should have been favored or should have been an underdog going into the game. What I'm saying is throughout the entire game, they had injury after injury, and Justin Fields, I don't think his injury did anything to the game. What did it to the game is the fact that they lost the best running back on the field, and then they kept losing people. They had no protection for Justin Fields. He was just back there throwing blindly. Like, you're not going to win a game doing that.
That was the outlook of what I was trying to get at as well. I think it was even at one point, Justin Fields was below 50% passing on the game. And, I mean, he didn't look fluid with his motions. There were some drives in which it was like, okay, Ohio State has finally caught the momentum that they needed. But it just didn't come to fruition. As soon as they caught the momentum, it was like Alabama took it right back. And a big part of that was Devontae Smith, who set the record for most receptions in a national championship game, as well as was 7 yards away from setting the record for the most yards in a national championship game, and that was just in the first half of the game. Um, Matt Jones, I believe he set records for yardage as well, and was able to take home the national championship MVP. So overall, what is your assessment of how Alabama played in? You were very critical on Ohio State, of course, with good reason. What's going to be the outlook for Alabama with how you were critical on them before the game, and then after seeing how they were able to play and take charge of the game, what's your assessment of the Crimson Tide?
Who's this for?
Okay, sorry, Terry. Just want to carry that over into what Alabama was able to do. What was your opinion on how they played um, on both sides
Oh,
of the ball?
yeah, no, I heard the question. I thought they played fantastic. I thought their defense was a little lackluster in the first half, but in the first half, Ohio State also still had everything on the field, and they proved that, with the still kind of full strength Ohio State, they can hang with Alabama. Granted, Alabama's offense is easily was the greatest in college football history, and you wasn't going to match that. I mean, Devontae Smith was able to catch, what was it, 200 and something yards in the first half.
215.
You're not keeping, you're not keeping up. You're not keeping up with pure speed like he has. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ohio State can do next season. I know Justin Fields is gone; he's going in the draft. But I'm going to say it now, and hell, you can clip this for all I care. Ohio State's going to be in the national championship again next season. I still think they're the best team or the second best team in college football. Obviously, Alabama's number one, but I think Ohio State is still the second best team in the nation. Clemson's not going to be there, and Georgia might, but I still think Ohio State can hang. So we'll see them up there next season.
And as soon as you say that, we're actually going to talk about what came across the board after the game. Right, I'd say even an hour. I'm not sure, Robert, you were there that night whenever it came across, and we talked about it after the stream ended. The outlook for that, and we're going to go ahead. This is actually going to be our going for two segment. Looking at this right here, our going for two segment, ESPN already released their way too early top 25 for this season as far as that goes. And looking at this right here, this kind of bothers me a little bit. It just doesn't give me a good taste in my mouth with some of the teams that they have, and I'm sure, Terry, if you're looking at this right here, it probably doesn't either. The one thing that is favoring me is the 1-2, and I don't mind seeing those two up top because you usually see those. But their prediction for the top 25 next year: number 1 Clemson, number 2 Alabama, 3 Oklahoma, which with the returning Spencer Rattler, I could imagine that. For Georgia, I think that's going to throw up a lot of flags right there on what they believe that Georgia Bulldogs team can do. 5 Ohio State. You mentioned the team that you think is going to go back to the national championship. They're sitting currently at 5 in the way too early poll, and then 6 Texas A&M, 7 North Carolina, 8 Iowa State, 9 USC, and 10 Indiana, with a host of teams following that. Looking at the board right now, based on that comment you just made, Terry, what is your input on this way too early top 25? Despite it being way too early, what's your outlook on this right here that ESPN put out?
Well, I think they're wrong. If you look at Clemson, they're losing so many starters. I mean, they're also obviously losing Trevor Lawrence.
Well, they're actually not losing. They're actually not losing that many. They're losing Travis Etienne at running back, which I think
that's two giant blows. That's 2 giant blows for the offense. So you're losing the best quarterback and you're using one of the best running backs. So Clemson being number 1 is ridiculous to me. No offense to you. I know you're a Clemson fan, but hear me out here.
Oh, 100%.
Unfortunately, Alabama should be number 1. Hands down, shouldn't even be a question. Alabama's number 1. Oklahoma being number 3. I'll say it right now. They're the most overrated team in this top 10. Like, that is ridiculous. They don't deserve to be there. whatever. Georgia, they'll probably be all right. Ohio State should be way higher than this. Ohio State has so much more depth. A&M's garbage. They'll be garbage next year. North Carolina's going to be decent. Iowa State's always good. USC chokes, and Indiana. Yeah, okay. Why are they there?
And you're bringing up a lot of points right here. The one thing, and I will come to Clemson's defense, go ahead and tear this argument apart. They're losing Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, and I think they're losing one guy on defense, and then they're losing Amari Rogers out of the receiving core. Out of that, everybody else is returning, including DJ Uigali. And the main question for Clemson next year is going to be the running game and what they're going to do to supplement that, because you can't run it with DJ every play. Despite them doing that against Notre Dame, you're not going to be able to do that. Turning around, looking back at the Alabama Crimson Tide team, Bryce Young's going to be, without question, probably the starting quarterback coming into next year, with John Mechie and guys like that going to be playing as well. The main question for them, they're losing Brian Robinson Jr. and Najee Harris, so it's going to come into question. Same question for them. What is their running game going to look like? And including their linebacking core in that as well, losing Dylan Moses. Turning and looking at Georgia, once again, quarterbacks are going to be a big question at number 4. I'm skipping right over Oklahoma. Their defense, just until they put some defense on the field, I agree with Terry. I have no idea why they're up here. It's the same story, different page with them every year. Georgia at number 4, the big question for them is going to be the quarterback situation. That wide receiver core is wildly impressive, in my opinion. And then looking at number 5, I think the big question also with them is going to be the quarterback position. CJ Stroud could be the possible starter. They also have 2 other options there as well, I believe, to be the possible quarterback for them heading into 2021. Robert, when you look at this top 25, what's your opinion on it as well, based on me and Terry's comments together?
To me, it does not make sense for Clemson to be number 1. Alabama is going to go into this next season. Their rookie quarterback got a couple of snaps Monday night, so he does have some experience. But either way, I don't see Clemson being even close to what they were this year or what they were last year. There's no way. You're losing Trevor Lawrence and forgot his other name. I'm not good with names. And my question is, why is Oklahoma so far up? It makes no sense. The same thing that you guys said. Spencer Rattler is a good, okay, but their defense is just it crumbles. Georgia, I can see getting up there and making something happen next season, but I don't think that Ohio State, they're losing Justin Fields. Of course, he's going to the draft. I don't know who exactly could be their next quarterback. I could see them taking a shot at a national championship next year, but I just don't see it. I think your 2 big hitters for next season, probably Alabama and Georgia for me right now.
So both teams coming out of the SEC looking to be the dominant ones next season for Robert Harding. Just looking overall, of course, I think it's easily predictable unless North Carolina pulls something out of nowhere. Expect Clemson to possibly be an ACC champion again, unless once again North Carolina sneaks up there.
Whoa!
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. No. I don't even think Clemson's coming. Clemson's not coming out of there. It's more than likely going to be North Carolina. Yeah,
it's clearly going to be University of Tennessee winning a national championship.
Oh my God, Robert, calm down.
Yeah. Let's
calm down.
Let's all stop smoking. Let's all stop smoking here.
I'm getting ganged up on by 2 Tennessee fans. Can somebody help me out in here, Mama Vols? I know you're out there somewhere in the chat.
Wait a minute here. Hold on here. I'm not gaining. Tennessee has a chance of winning a national title the moment I have a chance of having a kid. It's a long ways away, and
that's a pretty high chance.
I'd say what
pretty low chance on my end.
I was about to say, hold on, watch what you tread lightly because Ellie's in chat.
She knows. It's her rule. Tennessee's not
Oh,
winning
well,
a
then that
national
makes sense.
championship for a number of years. We can't keep a consistent coach. We can't keep a good defensive coordinator. We give up the most points in the SEC. We lost to everybody but South Carolina, and who was the other idiot we beat? Oh, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Yeah. We're at the
We
bottom
lost
of
to
the barrel.
Auburn. That's
Well,
pretty
I
bad.
mean, no, because Auburn's been basically Alabama's little brother. Losing to Vandy is what is the lightning strike right there. Is like, wait a minute. That's the lightning strike for y'all when you lose to Vandy.
Tennessee will not touch the top 25 for at least 5 more years. But I'm going to say it now. Mom, put me on record. I don't care. I don't care if you put me on there. I'm going to take a long shot here, and I say that the Texas Longhorns versus Ohio State national championship next year.
Oh, you might as well just be quiet.
Longhorns Buckeyes national title.
Nope.
Wait a minute. There is no way you just said a team from the same division as Oklahoma is going to the national title. Oklahoma
garbage.
Oklahoma without question is the best team in that conference, and you say Texas?
Oklahoma could lick peanut butter off a homeless dude's foot.
Oh my God.
They've choked the entire time. All they do is choke.
That's not a question, but
Ohio
you can't
State
deny the
National
offense.
Championship 2021.
You cannot deny. I will clip that and hold that as well. You cannot deny that Oklahoma, and I'll even throw this out in chat. Who's better, Oklahoma or Texas? Because, 110%, there is no way in my mind that Oklahoma does not come out as conference champions next year. Their defense, their defense is horrible, but their offense is not matched in that conference. Not at all.
As they say down there to our friends below the border, watching see muchacho, it's gonna happen.
Jesus, he brought that up. Okay.
Bama's gonna be in the top 4, but something's gonna strike, something's gonna happen. They're not gonna win.
If the Longhorns even touch going for a national championship next year and put this on record, I will buy and ship something to you next year. I don't know what it'll be yet, but
I want you to come on the show. You and Robert both to post a video on this show apologizing and physically washing my feet.
Hold on. The one thing I will say is that, and I will add them even in the poll I'm about to post on here. The one thing I will say is that if you even at close come to having Texas, like if Texas is in the top 5, I will apologize, and I will clip that as well. If Texas even makes it to the top 5, then I'll apologize.
You might as well go ahead and get that apology ready because
it's
Texas
not
is
happening,
and Texas is coming back.
You sound like
horns, baby.
You sound like Matthew McConaughey saying like every year Texas is back.
All right.
Oh my God!
It's Longhorn. It's Longhorn season, baby. It's Longhorn season.
Okay, Mama Vols just put in the chat. If you're right, I'll buy and wear a Tennessee Vols shirt. So you might want to screenshot that.
It's Longhorn season. It's Tennessee volunteer.
Yeah, you're right.
Texas Longhorn season.
You're right. It is Longhorn season, and Oklahoma's going to be putting some Longhorns down. That's all I'm going to be saying in that conference.
Oklahoma's garbage, but I won't. It's not PG-13 over here, so bleep Oklahoma. Bleep them. Oh my God. Bleep. Big trust in this house. Longhorns are about to bleep Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, you're having fun with that one, so I'll allow it.
I'm just telling you. I'm telling you what it's going to be next season. If you want to hear it, you don't. You don't want to hear that Clemson's not going to finish in the top 5. You don't want to hear that because you're a fan. You want to hear, Clemson's going to win it. And like me and Robert want to hear that Tennessee's going to go win it. But guess what? The long reality is not going to bleeping happen.
I'm not saying that they're going to win it. I'm just saying that they're going to be a contender. I mean, we can.
They aren't even going to be a contender. North Carolina's going to run the ACC for the next couple of years.
This man is sleeping highly on
this
DJ
man's not
Uiagalelei.
sleeping at all. This man's telling you flat out that he couldn't beat a crappy Notre Dame team that y'all blew out with Trevor Lawrence, so he's not on the same level as Trevor Lawrence. He ain't going to be shit. Of course,
a freshman against
North Carolina. It's going to be North Carolina running the ACC because Matt Brown is a baller.
No, the reason that North Carolina is so good, and mark my words on this, is just because they have Sam Howell, and that's all I'm saying. But heading now,
baller.
Jesus, heading now into the commercial break.
I think we need to move on.
Oh Lord. Heading now into the commercial break, we're going to be coming back to the NFL wildcard gets wild. A lot of upsets and a lot of shakeups heading into the divisional round of the playoffs. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. We will be right back.
I'm hopeless in the crossfire. There's nowhere to go. I'm holding my desires. My heart overflows. The only direction that I'll ever need is a deeper connection that's leading me. And I'm lost in your love when you hold me. Just hold me, 'cause I don't wanna run from your heartbeat. Your heartbeat, no, 'cause I'm lost in your love. I can't break the fall, you're taking it all. I'm lost in your love.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not even going to mention on what's going on in this Discord chat right now, but welcome back here to the Experts of Racing Sportscast, and here we're talking about the NFL wildcard and how wild it's getting. Of course, right now, Alpha, you can see on the right side, that is our board of all the topics we're getting to, and you can see Mr. Rock NASCAR, what everybody is excited for right there. As we are heading now into the NFL wildcard here, talking about the wild card and how it's shaped out now into the division, and you can see all the teams that are here, and I think we are all pretty shocked about some teams that are missing. And looking at this, me and Terry both need to issue an apology on this one. I didn't get a clip for it, but Alpha.
I don't.
Alpha.
Rock. Shut up.
Alpha. I'll say it myself. I don't know if Terry is, but I'll say it. I'm sorry.
I refuse. I refuse.
I'm sorry.
I refuse.
I'm sorry.
No.
The Browns.
No.
If you want me to go ahead and say it, I'm picking the Browns against the Chiefs just because of what Sammy Watkins came out and said.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid.
You said the same thing about Alpha going for the Browns against the Steelers. I mean, I'm just saying.
You know what? You know what?
Go ahead.
Listen. Kansas City is not a beat up Pittsburgh team.
Oh my God.
It's not. The City is the Ric Flairs of the NFL.
Oh my
They're the
God.
limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a guns. What does Patrick Mahomes throw interception? He throws no look passes.
I mean,
Now,
so does Matthew Stafford, but you don't see that on ESPN every week.
Yeah, exactly. He hates Shitberg. We all hate Shitberg. And I picked them. I thought they were going to come out. I thought Juju was going to have a good game, and they shit the bed. Snap one looked like old Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. But I'm disappointed that there's not another logo on that screen. So, whatever. My feelings are hurt.
And what we're going to mention, what he is talking about, and I'm going to allow him to go ahead and elaborate As we head to the AFC,
No.
you can see nope. You brought it up. We're going into it. The AFC playoffs, now looking at the divisional round, the Bills are taking on the Ravens, the Browns taking on the Chiefs, and heading up to that top game, the Bills are taking on the Ravens, who got their revenge for the original logo stumping, and return the favor instead. Terry, your thoughts on that Bills and Ravens matchup?
Containing Lamar, it's easier said than done. I'm not going to make a prediction on that game. Yeah, Maddie said it might be a snow game. I think that's going to favor Baltimore more than it's going to favor Buffalo. But Rock's going to want to hear me say Baltimore, but I can't do it. I can't pick either one of them. I think it's going to be a very close game, and it might go within 3 or 7. But the Cleveland-Kansas City game, Kansas City by a mile.
Well, you're saying that right now. Ellie's already in chat. She's just shooting down the team.
I don't listen. I don't listen to what she says. She's irrelevant to me.
Oh my god. Oh. Well, somebody's in the doghouse now. Yeah,
completely irrelevant.
He corrected himself real quick. He made sure.
I have enough time to get out of it. I have 4 more months left.
About to say he got out. He corrected himself real quick. Now we're switching gears. We're looking at, and this was, I think, beyond. The first game was beyond predictable. The second one we're looking at, I'm shocked. Looking at this right here, Bucks and Saints. We knew this was going to happen. I mean, I think that Washington team put up one hell of a fight. Jesus Christ. I mean, that was one hell of a game. And then to turn around, you knew who was going to win entering the game, but Washington put up a good fight. I really didn't want to see the Brady Breeze game, but of course, NFL, gotta love them. Yeah, I swear.
Well, the Saints already destroyed them once, so.
I mean, I'm hoping they beat him again. I really do not want to see Brady even come close because I don't want to hear the GOAT talk again. He's nowhere near close to the GOAT, in my opinion. Looking at this.
Oh, shut up.
Here we go.
Shut up.
Here we
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on this one.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare disrespect Tom Brady and his GOAT status. Don't you dare.
You're the one that said that Ryan Tannehill was the. You were also the same person that said Ryan Tannehill could have been one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
No. Watch your mouth.
We go.
Watch your mouth, and don't disrespect Tannehill. Stop your disrespect to Tannehill. Tannehill did what Tannehill could do. Your running game is your biggest key. Your running game is your biggest key to set up play action and set up the pass game.
You're sounding like Jimmy G. This reminds me of Kyle Shanahan. You don't have a running game.
I'm just telling you. If you want, we do, but did we have a running game against Baltimore? No. He had 40 yards on like 30 attempts.
And then also Baltimore.
Tannehill did what he could do, and we only lost by 7. We hung in the game. We led the game with Baltimore.
Baltimore got disrespected, though. They were motivated heading into that game.
Tennessee choked.
It's not Tennessee choked. It was that Baltimore, I think, was motivated. But
Tennessee choked.
We're heading back over here and looking at this one.
Don't disrespect Tom Brady, though. Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's going to the Super Bowl.
I want to know.
Tom Brady alone.
I want to know straight up, how does LA beat Seattle? You have a guy with his thumb falling off replacing a quarterback because Jamal Adams broke his neck.
Defense, baby.
Jesus Christ. This was shocking. I thought Seahawks, this was going to be a breeze. We were going to see Seahawks Packers. That was a game I was going to be excited for.
Defense.
I mean, this was just Jared Goff went into the game. His thumb's halfway connected to. I mean, he can't even feel his thumb. It's flopping around. I mean, this was insane to me.
Tampa Bay, Green Bay, NFC Championship game.
Jesus Christ.
I got to go with Aaron Rodgers.
Discount double check versus the GOAT. And the GOAT.
Oh, my God.
The GOAT's gonna do what the GOAT always does.
Yeah, but the GOAT also in the Saints game earlier this season. I know they're not going against the Saints in that particular thing, but he also gave up about what was it like? Ridiculous amount of yards. It took him 3 quarters to even get a first down.
Out of everybody that voted,
I don't care.
3 people were voted on this here. I don't think anybody else got involved in the poll. Asked based on our college one earlier, it was actually ended up being a tie. Who was the national champion in 2021? It ended up being a tie. Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State all tied. Georgia and Texas did not receive a single vote.
I don't care. What I'm telling you is don't sleep on the GOAT. The GOAT's coming out of the NFC. And Maddie, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if LA beats Green Bay either. But what I'm thinking is that Green Bay's going to hold their own at their house. They're going to hold down the Cheesehead Nation. And Tampa Bay's going to come in, and Tampa Bay's going to do what Tampa Bay always does with Tom Brady and the GOAT. They're going to keep throwing touchdowns. They're going to keep rubbing it in your face, and it's going to happen. And then they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Their defense is great.
Robert,
okay, so who you got in the Super Bowl pick between the Chiefs and Tampa Bay? Because the Chiefs, I guarantee, are going to go to the Super Bowl.
You know what? I'm not even going to touch that one. I'm not even going to touch that one. I haven't watched Kansas City play much. I just know Kansas City is great.
So, all right. So hold on. We're going to bring up the whole wild card base and look at this again. You look at all these teams. Who's going to the national or not national? I'm still thinking college. Who's going to the Super Bowl out of all four teams on each
Kansas
conference?
City. You have it. The second matchup right there. Tampa Bay and Kansas City.
Bucks are not beating Green Bay.
Bucks and Bills. Shut up, Maddie. Shut up. Bucks and Bills. Shut up.
As much as I love Josh Allen, I gotta agree.
If you're right, I will. If you're right, Maddie, I'll do something on the show. I'll fucking Skype in here and do something stupid. You just name it. You just name what you want me to do. I'll eat something stupid.
Just bring
on this stream,
Maddie. Just send him a Bills jersey and make him wear it for a whole like 2 weeks or 2 episodes or something. But
ridiculous.
But
ridiculous.
Oh my lord. But looking at I don't see Green Bay faulting. I could be wrong on that, but as I agree with him, Maddie, I'm sorry. I'll send him a patch jersey, Jesus Christ. But as much as I love Josh Allen's style of play, as much as I love what he's been able to do in Buffalo, he's been able to become that franchise guy up there. I don't see him being able to pull out a full playoff run. I mean, I don't see it happening, but this is going to roll over into now. Talking about the successful teams in the NFL, let's turn around and talk about the coaches who are going to be going to the unsuccessful teams here as we look at our coaching carousel and also the big story that started all this. Doug Peterson fired from the Eagles. I want to get the initial reaction, starting with you, Robert Harding. Doug Peterson fired from the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you think this, how long do you think this has been brewing? Or do you think it was just a reaction from a city that was upset still from the disaster in primetime against Washington?
Honestly, I think it's been brewing for a while. They went 4-11 and then 1 tie this season. So I think that it's been one of those things where they just kind of got fed up with it. And I think the Seahawks need a change. I think even just bringing that new head coach in, it'll help them. You look at, what was it, 3 years ago when they won Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Then you look at what was last year, and I think they went 9-7. So already kind of a dip down. And then 4-11 and 1. That's pretty ridiculous for a Super Bowl team that won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. So it did surprise me, but I'm not surprised at the same time. It caught me off guard more, but I'm not surprised.
I got you. And looking over at now, you were pretty evident on your opinion on the whole situation. What's your opinion on this firing? I mean, I don't think Peterson did a bad job there. I don't think it's on Peterson. completely. I think this is a pretty off base reaction of a pretty hardcore fan base and a hardcore front office. What's your opinion on it, Terry?
You can't coach Philly and have a losing record. You can't do it. You can't get embarrassed on national TV multiple times during the season. You can't pull your starting quarterback, even though it was great. He wanted a better draft pick, but you can't do that. They didn't like it. They want a winning mentality, and it didn't happen. And he's gone. And he's gone. And there's a reason he's gone. But, you know, who are they going to place with him? I know Arthur Smith's a big candidate out there. The Bucks defensive coordinators out there as an option. It's going to be interesting to see who they put in there, because whoever's in there needs to make a big decision on whether they're going to keep Carson Wentz or whether they're going to keep Jalen Hurts. And in my opinion, I think Carson Wentz can still be an MVP in the league. He just needs the right system. You give him the right system, he's going to be a winner.
I think 100%, in my opinion, looking in the direction of that franchise. In my opinion, just to build up capital and build toward your future, I do not think Carson Wentz is the future of any franchise at this point. I think he's had his time, in my opinion. I don't think he can be the future. I think he's more of a bridge player, similar to Ryan Fitzpatrick and stuff like that. I think he's more of that bridge player to the next best thing. Or he could have a pathway like Tannehill and go have a revitalization somewhere else. But, I mean, I think the future of Philadelphia is going to be within Jalen Hurts and running that offense. I think he's been a proven leader. I think he's proven that ever since his college days, and I think he could be the guy that possibly leads that Philadelphia team back into the playoffs as long as they put the right guys around him. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, you're looking at guys. I mean, especially if they're able to draft Devontae Smith, I think that's a perfect matchup. Both from Alabama, both played with each other at one point or another. I think that's a good matchup for them. But like I said, it's just going to come down to what the new coach is and what he plans to do, like you mentioned. But looking at the coaching carousel that kind of sparked off of this, Bill O'Brien, it was announced. We announced this live on the watch party. Was announced he is going to be the new offensive coordinator for the University of Alabama in that Crimson Tide offense after being fired from the Texans, both as a GM and coach after just 4 games. And I'm guessing that was off the response of not only losing the first 4, but also the trade and all the questionable, will probably be the nice way to say it as a Texans fan, decisions in the past season's offseason. Jerry, I'm going to start with you on this one. He's entering the Nick Saban coach rehabilitation clinic. I mean, what's your outlook for O'Brien here and him trying to move forward with his coaching career and trying to rebuild and actually try to get some trust back into his career from either other universities or maybe a GM in the NFL again?
As long as he's not able to make any trades or any stupid cuts, I think he'll be all right down there. It's easy to run a college offense, especially at Alabama. Throw the ball, run the ball, and just do whatever you want and just be physically dominant. Alabama's been proven to have the most depth across the board. There's nobody that can compete with their depth. Their freaking third string can beat any team in in the SEC. I mean, come on, let's get real here. They stack their box all year, and they just keep stacking it and stacking it with the greatest players in college. But hopefully that changes when they start paying players, and they'll start going around to different places. But my biggest thing is Urban Meyer down there going to Jacksonville. That's going to shake up the AFC South.
Another thing that may shake up the NFL right now, especially the Broncos organization, just reported by Adam Scheffler. Von Miller is now going to be under investigation from the Denver police, I believe, right now for a possible, what it looks like. They're still gathering information on it. Right now, it looks like some form of assault or some form of that could be possibly. I'm not even sure right now. Scheffler just says he's being investigated right now by the Denver police right now for a possible crime. Nothing is being. They're talking about his substance abuse in his comment right now, but other than that, Adam Scheffler is just saying he's being investigated. So that could be interesting to look at, especially for the leadership of that Denver Broncos defense, especially if something were to happen right there as far as that moving forward. And as soon as we are talking about this as well, Falcons hire Arthur Smith as head coach. So perfect timing right there to be able to bring this
Genius.
up. They are hiring.
That's so genius. That is so genius.
Go ahead.
So genius.
You're obviously happy about it, so go ahead. Give the full rundown on this hiring.
It's the most genius move. Arthur Smith's one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. He's not a proven head coach, but look what he did with Tannehill. Look what he did. Look what he did with an offense that I think they have a better offense in Atlanta than they do in Tennessee. You have Matty Ice. He runs the show. He hasn't been in a system for a couple of years since they went to the Super Bowl that was worth the crap. You still have great receivers. You have a great running back. Hell yeah, that's money. And that was the smartest move Arthur Smith could have made, is go to Atlanta, go take over that, and then eventually in like 2 years, put a new quarterback in that system and develop him. Draft him this year, develop him for a couple of years behind Matt Ryan, and then go about your day. And he's going to have a successful program down there, and you're going to see the Atlanta Falcons jump tremendously this year in the NFL.
Certainly, and like you mentioned before, it's definitely going to be it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they can do in Atlanta with that new head coach hiring. But moving on in the rest of the list that we have here, good old Steve-O. He's heading from Alabama, being the offensive coordinator, being replaced by Bill O'Brien. He's heading to head coach the Texas Longhorns, and I think this is a big reason why Terry is so behind this Longhorns team. What's your outlook for this hiring, Robert, as Steve, who had such great success as we saw in Alabama? He's going to be moving to take on his own pathway with the University of Texas.
To me, like Texas Longhorns, I think we see an improvement next season with him moving over. I always mess up his last name, so I'm not going to try. He's just Steve for now. So, but with Alabama, you can go in there and not do jack shit and still have a good team. Like that, they pick the most physical people every year, the best people in the nation out of high school football every year to come over there. Just like Terry said, I think it was like a few minutes ago, Alabama can put their third stringers out and still win a game. So I think you'll see an improve out of the Longhorns, but I don't think you're going to see a national championship out of the Longhorns. Hey, it's just not going to happen.
And definitely now moving on to, and I think Alpha may have some eyebrow raises on this, whatever is said. Urban Meyer coming out of retirement for like the third time with health issues will be heading to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think this is going to shake up a lot with the draft. Possibly. It raises a lot of eyebrows, like I mentioned, and it's going to raise a lot of question marks, and a lot of questions are going to come to fruition. Terry, what do you think about this signing? Does this do anything for Jacksonville, or do you think this is just going to be one of those bridge things to possibly set up a culture down there with the Jaguars?
I think it's gonna be fantastic. I mean, Urban Meyer's been a proven winner everywhere he's went. I don't see why he could lose here, especially if he gets Trevor Lawrence.
Well, that's a very big question because it's been asked. Now this hiring has been in process. Even though he didn't coach him, he comes out of the same system that Urban puts in place. Is there any chance the Jaguars trade down with Urban Meyer as the head coach and tries to go after Fields and some more draft capital?
No.
No way you're giving up. If you're him, there's no way you're giving up Trevor Lawrence. Like that's a lock for the number one pick, in your opinion?
No, no way.
Okay, well, I mean, you heard it from him.
Interesting answer.
I mean, he's set in his ways. He's just like it's not happening. But now, good old Bobby Soleil, I think that's how you say his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably making myself
The
look
actual
dumb.
name is Robert, but
Well, Robert, Bob,
we'll
whatever.
go with Bobby.
Either
We'll
way,
go with
Bobby, good old Bobby. He goes from being the
Ricky Bobby.
offensive coordinator to the offensive coordinator of the 40. No, actually, let me correct myself. I think it may be Vol's already launching fireworks in the channel. He goes from being a coordinator of that 49ers, I actually do believe is the defensive coordinator now, becoming the head coach of the Jets. And I think that's interesting enough because, I mean, the 49ers had one of the best defenses, if they were healthy, had one of the best defenses the past few years, in my opinion. The talent around that team was amazing, and I think he can set up a great culture there with the Jets. And an interesting thing about that offense is that of course, they're bringing in Matt LaFleur, who is the Green Bay's head coach. They're bringing in his brother to be the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. And, I mean, this raises questions of, is Sam Darnold going to be safe here? I mean, are they not even going to look at a quarterback anymore? It's definitely going to pose a question here on that and what they plan to do with this Jets team. But, Robert, what's your opinion? This is a huge move, and I think and many others think as well, this could possibly be the best signing to date for the coaching carousel so far in this offseason.
Just something I want to say is props to the Jets, man. This is a huge deal for them. They didn't do that great this season, so this is a huge signing for them. I understand why the 49ers and Saley or whatever split ways. They didn't do so good this season after going to the Super Bowl last season. So, but it's going to be huge for the Jets this season, and I don't think that the Jets now. I don't think that they'll look as hard for a quarterback. They might scour and maybe look through it and stuff like of course, they have been doing. But I don't think they're going to look crazy for a quarterback right now. But this is going to be a huge deal for the Jets. And now I'm not going to say that they're going to qualify for the playoffs or anything like that. But I can see them not stumbling out of the gate as much as they did this season and maybe picking up some early wins and maybe some momentum next season.
Definitely, and looking forward to what they're going to be able to do. Right now, it is 6:20 Eastern time, and we're going to go ahead and shift gears now as we're going to head into another commercial break. When we come back, WWE Champion out, Drew McIntyre announces that he is positive with COVID. What's going to be the outcome of that? And our short segment before we hit the NASCAR segments of over Haley Deegan and Gone in 60 Seconds. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm hopeless in the crossfire. There's nowhere to go. I'm holding my desires. My heart overflows. The only direction that I'll ever need is the deeper connection that's leading me. And I'm lost in your love when you hold me. Just hold me, 'cause I don't wanna run from your heartbeat. Your heartbeat, no, 'cause I'm lost in your love. I can't break the fall, you're taking it all. I'm lost in your love. I'm lost in your love.
And here we are back here on the Experts of Racing Sportscast. We're having some fire alarm troubles in the background of either my mic or somebody else's mic. We're going to figure that out soon enough. But right now,
Cheers.
look. Okay, Robert's going to immediately blame me. But looking now into our WWE Champion Out segment, as soon, I'd say pretty close as when Goldberg was named the challenger of the WWE Championship here for the Royal Rumble, it was immediately announced, basically, I'd say a day or so later, Drew McIntyre's got COVID. And right now, a big storyline coming out of that is that Vince McMahon is not happy with his WWE champion. Foles, you're, of course, big fan, and I wouldn't even say big fan. I'd say you're a big critic at times, of course, as well. What's your input on Drew McIntyre? He was about to be the face of Monday Night Raw for a foreseeable future, I'd say. They're looking to push him extensively, in my opinion, and then turn around and this happens. I mean, what's the outlook for Drew McIntyre, as it's even been rumored he could possibly vacate the title, even though he'll be good to go before the Rumble? What's your outlook for McIntyre and his foreseeable future?
I think they're going to put the title on Goldberg just to be idiots like they always are. And if they put the title on Goldberg, then it's just going to be another stupid storyline of, oh, we might unify the titles. I mean, we all know the biggest attraction in wrestling right now, at least WWE standpoint, is Randy Orton and The Fiend. That one's going to be huge. But Drew McIntyre getting COVID, he did it to himself. Who goes to a restaurant and sits down in the middle of a pandemic when you're still the champion? Like, you go and do something stupid like that, and you get it, and now you're sitting on the sidelines. So it's his fault.
I mean, that's in simplest terms to be able to say that. And looking forward, we were talking about just a few weeks ago how Vince McMahon has been unpredictable backstage. It's going to be crazy to see what decision is made later on. I mean, the challenge was laid down last week despite Drew having COVID. I mean, the match is still on. But the question is how long will he hold that championship? Will he lose it at the Rumble or moving forward? I mean, if you're the leadership in this position, what are you doing? And I know you're going to come out and say, well, I wouldn't even have put Goldberg in this situation. I don't think anyone would. But what is your outlook moving forward if you were the producer behind this storyline? What's your outlook for this?
You know, you just you have to regroup, and then you need to lick your wounds, put the title on somebody else, and then have a good main event at the Rumble. If you don't produce at the Rumble, then people aren't going to tune into Mania, even though Mania is a spectacle. It's just, I don't understand why they even bring back Goldberg to do anything to begin with. I mean, yeah, he attracts money, but after the Undertaker debacle, I'm not bringing Goldberg back.
I mean, I completely agree with you, especially on that extent. And I mean, in simplest terms, you explained it best. But right now, we're going to take one more quick commercial break before we head to the final stretch of the show before we hit the checkered flag. Of course, keep it right here on the Experts in Racing Sportscast. Let your friends know as we have Deegan in Trouble coming up, as well as Robert Harding's Gone in 60 Seconds, and our awaiting guest, Rock NASCAR, is going to get his 15-minute interview with Mr. Terry Radford. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
I'm hopeless in the crossfire. There's nowhere to go. I'm holding my desires. My heart overflows. The only direction that I'll ever need is the deeper connection that's leading me. And I'm lost in your love when you hold me. Just hold me, 'cause I don't wanna run from your heartbeat. Your heartbeat, no, 'cause I'm lost in your love.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. And this has been a storyline that's been brewing for the past few days. It came to fruition that nothing really big's going to happen to her as far as punishment-wise. Just sensitivity training will be required, nothing further than that. But Haley Deegan getting caught using what many people are calling a inappropriate slur on a Twitch stream. I'm not going to repeat it, and I really hope.
Oh my gosh! Come on.
I'm not
Come
going
on.
to.
She
I'm not going to.
She said the word retarded.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, I'm not trying to get canceled.
How offensive? How offensive can we be in this day and age? We have people who bitch and complain that the First Amendment's getting stepped on. But okay, yeah, she said a word that was insensitive to others. Grow a pair. Stop being little crybabies out here. She said one word. I've heard worse in a public lobby on NASCAR. I've heard worse on playing Call of Duty. I've heard worse playing 2K or Madden. I hear worse walking down the street.
There's nothing worse.
I hear worse walking down the street. So why is just because she's in a public light, are there people screaming, she needs to be fired, she needs to be this? Shut up. It's so easy to judge somebody from the outside or get off your pedestal and your high horse for 30 seconds to look and go, she's no different than all of us. She slipped up. She said a word. It's not Kyle Larson's status. Kyle Larson said the N-word. That's totally different between saying that word and saying the N-word. Yes, she made a mistake, but why are people trying to burn her at the stake? This isn't the 1800s where if a woman spoke out of turn, we burned her because she knew math. This is the 21st century, and people are going, she said that word. It's so sacred. Okay, so everybody who's sitting there judging Haley Deegan right now, if you ever hear somebody say something stupid or something stupid comes out of their mouth, slap them in the mouth and tell them you're banned from Twitter, you're banned from Facebook because you said something that offended me. Stop being so offended. Grow up. Just grow up.
Terry, I think he's being flat out with that right there. And
Yeah.
There was a big question, and I'm going to transition this one to Robert. A lot of people were saying that in this day and age, her being a role model and stuff like that, and they expanded this later on to all NASCAR drivers. A lot of people did compare it to the Kyle Larson situation. Some even said it was at the same level. Of course, you could see Terry's opinion on that right there and what he said. What Robert, I'm asking you, and somebody had mentioned this. I can't get an exact source, but I remember seeing this in a bunch of the comments on the situation. What if you're a NASCAR driver, and I'm gonna put this in a different light than what it was originally put. If you're a NASCAR driver, does this deter you from using platforms like Twitch and such after seeing what happened to first Larson, now Deegan? Despite their mistakes, are you a little more cautious when approaching that outside source as we move towards more of a digital age when iRacing is going to be more included in such on live broadcast, both on TV and on the platform as well?
So I think that she did make a mistake, yes. But no, I don't think she needs to quit Twitch. I don't think NASCAR drivers need to quit Twitch or anything like that. But I do think they have to understand that if you're going to get on these this Twitch, Twitter, stuff like that, and this goes for any social media influencer. I agree with Terry on what he said. People need to grow up. But looking at the picture you have posted on there, she has Monster Energy as a sponsor. Now she has Ford backing her. She has all this backing, and she's going to go out here and not care. And I get it. It was a mistake, but I don't think this causes NASCAR drivers to steer away from, say, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, iRacing, stuff like that. But yes, it causes them to be more cautious, and they should be more cautious. Because Haley Deegan right now, you look at Haley Deegan, if you go up to a random person that probably doesn't follow NASCAR, they might know who Haley Deegan or the Deegan family is. You know, she is a role model, and whether you like it or not, whether you think the word she said is stupid, whether you think you can't compare this situation to Kyle Larson anyway, but whether you think that, she is a role model, and it's not the first time that she's been in hot water over something she said or did. she has to start. To me, she has to start watching what she's doing, especially with all these eyes watching her. And no, it's not fair to her for her to be, what is she, 19, 20? I'm pretty sure she's 20. Yeah, she's somewhere around there. It's not fair to her that she has all these cameras in her face, but she does. She did make that choice, and she did say that she wants this life. She wants to be a NASCAR Cup Series driver one day. So she has to accept that there is consequences in here for the stuff that she says and the stuff that she does.
110%. And once again,
If
yeah,
one second before we jump to this, if you're a parent, it does
well,
raise your kids right. Stop letting them look. They can look up to whoever they want to be, like the Sarah Fuller who kicked a field goal for Vanderbilt. They want to be a Haley Deegan in NASCAR, a Danica Patrick, um, whoever. They want to be whoever. Raise your kid right. Stop going, she's a role model, she's a role model. Oh, yeah, she might be. She might be the face of something, but your parents need to be the role models. You don't need to have Haley Deegan be the person that's helping influence your kids on what they should say and shouldn't say. That's like the argument that they should take South Park off the television or they should take Family Guy off the television because it's quote unquote corrupting the youth. Control what your kids watch. Control what your kids take in. It sickens me that the only time NASCAR touches the news or touches a headline on ESPN or Fox or whatever is when something bad happens. She said a word. Oh my gosh, get over it. Yes, was it insensitive to some people? Absolutely. But this cancel culture bullshit that every time one of these stars come in your lobby and iRacing, and I hope somebody, I'll make sure I share this. If you're a NASCAR driver and you want to do iRacing, come over to my shit. I'll never record you. You can say whatever you want because I don't give a shit. You can say whatever words you want to say, except for the N word. I don't take that very seriously. I don't take that at all. That's stupid. Don't say it. It's just an insensitive word for no reason. But if you're going to say whatever you want to say, come race with me. It'll be Volspan 88 on iRacing. You say whatever's on your mind. And if it offends somebody in there, I'm going to tell them to shut up because we're not recording over there. We don't play that. It's so ridiculous that just because she's in the spotlight that we have to look up to her. There's people out here that are putting out worse stuff. Look at Kim Kardashian and Cardi B. They're putting out way worse stuff on television and on music videos like WAP or whatever that is. It's a good song. I enjoy it. I think it's funny, but I don't give a crap. She said the word. They say it in rap songs. They say it in country songs. They say it in rock songs. Why aren't we blacklisting them? Cancel them. Stop trying to cancel her.
I'll definitely agree with you on that, and also to move forward on that point that you made. This is a comment made by Ronnie Freeman. This is the full comment by him up on the screen right now. He's an admin and a member of Haley Deegan Nation as far as a group together, and this is what his comments were on the situation. I've been looking at the comments all over this. I have a daughter that passed away. She was mentally handicapped. I didn't think not one thing about what Haley Deegan said. Anyone that was offended by it have shallow minds. The ones that stopped following Haley because of it weren't true friends to start with. Get over it. It wasn't directed toward mentally handicapped people. It is a slang word that the younger generation call each other that all the time. I have heard the Cup drivers call each other all kinds of ugly and nasty names in NASCAR, or anybody else says a damn thing about it. NASCAR Series Racing needs to clean up their own house instead of everyone else's. Here's one comment that was made that really pissed me off. My sister is mentally retarded, and it is an insult to her and everyone else to use the R word as a slang word. Mentally retarded people have more heart and respect than anyone using that word as a slang word. People can be so rude and so disrespectful. This person called her own sister retarded. She didn't have to call her that, but she chose to. Not once but twice she used that word. This was directed at her sister, but that's okay for others to publicly say it. But if you are a personality, you best keep your mouth shut. Don't get me wrong, I hate the word retarded. That's one word that was never ever set in my house because my daughter wasn't retarded, she was mentally handicapped. Twitch is a setup I truly believe NASCAR drivers really should stop using it. I also think that NASCAR on Fox needs to take radioactive off Race Hub unless they penalize every driver that calls another driver a name. NASCAR has double standards depending on who you are and what series you're in. I know that not everyone feels the way I do, but please keep your comments clean. If you feel like you can't comment without using vulgar language, then just keep scrolling. So I think that comment
And
sums
he
up
hits a fantastic point. He hits a fantastic point. It's such a double standard. NASCAR charges you, and my wife's disagreeing with me, and you know what? That's fine. Disagree with me all you want. We have two different standards on how we want to see the world run. You think that celebrities and influencers are people who have this great role. I don't. My kids aren't going to look up to that. My kids aren't going to look up to some role model or some celebrity outside of there to pick and choose how they live their life. They're going to listen to me. I'm the one that's going to tell them how to do it. Me. But the fact that NASCAR makes you pay for the radioactive channel to listen to an in-car of people calling each other assholes and shit like that, no, get out of here. Get out of here with this. You cannot sit here and tell me that just because she said a word that, yeah, she's young. She's young. We've said the word. We've said it. We've all said it. If anybody in this chat can tell me they've never said that word, please raise your hand that you've never said the word that Haley Deegan used. Please come tell me, PM me directly, click my name on this Twitch thing, and let me know you've never said that word, and I'm going to send you a box of cookies, and I might send you a glass of milk. And if you have an issue with what I said on this channel, we can sit down with a glass of milk and a whole rack of cookies and talk about how you need to grow up.
I mean,
rant over.
The cookies do sound interesting, though. I will say that.
I disagree. I don't understand. So I get it. She did say the word. But I think the biggest thing that we need to look at with this is when you are in this position, you have to watch what you say. And it wasn't bad this time, but if she lets something else slip, it could ruin her damn career. And yes, NASCAR does have a double standard. But, NASCAR was also put in a position where they had a good majority of actually their fan base going against them and saying it needs to have action took to it. I think NASCAR went with the appropriate action against Haley Deegan, but it's one of those things is, in my opinion, why are we looking at the word she said and not looking at the depths of what this means? What can other NASCAR drivers learn from what happened here? They can learn that they need to watch what they say. They are in different positions than a regular person. They are not regular people. I hate to say it, but they're in such a high position.
The one thing, and I'll include that to your point. Even within criminal justice, currently I'm taking that in college, but even in criminal justice, and they say this carries over even into the celebrity world, you live in the view of a glass box in that everyone pays attention to what you do. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of drivers have to carry forward. I think the Kyle Larson situation was the first shot that, that was an extreme measure, and I understand why everything happened with that. But I think this one, I think NASCAR is setting another standard on what they will and won't allow. A lot of people are saying this is the line right here, so I think this is the line that NASCAR is setting for itself. As now we're going to move forward into the Gone in 60 segments. Gone in 60 seconds segments. Well, we're clicking off through the segments here. As Robert Harding, you're going to be on the clock here. Multiple questions here for you for this one, and this is going to we're going to start with one that's going to carry over from the original one, as it's already counting down, unfortunately. But hold on, let's pop it back up here. All right, Mr. Robert Harding, as soon as I put the clock up, you're going to be on the clock after I read this first question. Carrying over from what we just talked about with Haley Deegan, what is your opinion on Twitch or other platforms as such that drivers are utilizing outside of NASCAR? What do you think their stance is on after the Larson and Deegan situations go?
I think that all these teams need to sit down with their drivers and stuff. And I will say, and I'm going to badmouth the PR, not really badmouth, but I'm going to say these PR people and off of these teams need to sit down with their drivers and sit down with their crew members and everything like that. And they need to go over what can be said and what can't be said over Twitch, Twitter, and stuff like that if they want to keep their damn jobs. That this is a absolute bomb off the PR side, and it's a bomb off the team side and the driver side. These drivers need to start paying attention to the Twitch and Twitter rules and stuff, even though some of them are wildly stupid. They need to start paying attention and start listening to these PR people and fix the stuff that they are saying on this stuff if they want to keep their job.
And there we go. There is the 60 seconds on that one. Taking the timer off. I'm going to put it back up again after this one. Pitbull announced as co-owner of new team at Trackhouse Racing, who has been aligned with RCR. What is your opinion on pop culture joining now into NASCAR, attracting or still trying to attract new viewers in the younger generation to try to become fans of the once great American sport of NASCAR? What's your opinion on
it? First of all, I think we're still a great American sport, but I think this is awesome. We have Michael Jordan, Pitbull in the sport right now. Blake Shelton is in the sport. Some people might not have noticed that, but he is. And it's awesome to be bringing these new fans in. Like Pitbull, I think he's Hispanic or something like that.
Yeah,
he's bringing the Hispanic viewership in. These people that are now seeing their artist, their person that they like, my mother loves Pitbull. They're seeing this guy go into NASCAR, and they might start watching to see how his team is going to do and stuff. So I think this is awesome. I'm totally on board for both Michael Jordan and Pitbull coming into the sport. And I think it's going to open a wide variety of fan bases coming in. It's so awesome for the sport.
Definitely, and you were able to finish it up before the timer ran out. I'm impressed with that one. Looking now, we're carrying over. We're talking about guys coming into the sport. You mentioned Michael Jordan, about that Michael Jordan team alongside Denny Hamlin and driver Bubba Wallace. There's a lot of hype around it. Is the hype real for the 23 team coming into this season? Go ahead and go.
Yes. I don't think they're going to run great at the beginning of the season. I think Bubba, he's a great plate racer, so I think he'll run good in the 500. But that's still going to be a new team getting on their toes. But they're bringing a lot of Joe Gibbs guys in. They're bringing Joe Gibbs equipment in. So I think the first part of the season, the hype is going to have to start to calm down, and it will. And people might write them off a little bit. But toward the back half of the season, they're going to be clicking on all cylinders. And I could see Bubba Wallace getting into victory lane at some of these places, like maybe Daytona, something like that. I could see him getting into victory lane. Or Bristol even. You never know.
Definitely. And you're beating out the timer this time around. He's on a roll here. Moving on to another team that is going to be questioned about how well they can do. Ty Dillon has just been announced earlier today to the 96, I believe, for Gaunt, or not Gaunt, but JBR, I think it is Gaunt Brothers Racing. For the first two races, he's announced to the 96. What is your opinion about him and possibly what he can do in the 96 to try to salvage his NASCAR Cup Series career?
I think Ty Dillon is a great driver, and I think he got dealt a bad hand. He's showed some great runs over these past 2 years, but he got dealt a really bad hand with that Germain team and them losing sponsorship. So it's going to be one of those things where we saw Daniel Suarez in that Gaunt Brothers car where he ran good but not great. So Ty Dillon's just going to – he doesn't have any sponsor backing that I know of. So it's going to be a rough start for him and a rough road to continue his NASCAR Cup career in this season. But a good thing is he does have connections. He has connections to possibly if Trackhouse adds another car. His grandfather is Richard Childress, so he has connections, and that is a very good thing. But it's going to be a rough couple seasons for him, what I can see.
Certainly, and now moving on, last one, man. Last one. William Byron and Alex Bowman, both of Hendrick Motorsports, released official paint schemes this past week. I believe Byron's actually got released yesterday. A lot of people have given high praise and also have showed disappointment in both schemes. Looking from your opinion, what's your opinion on both schemes and the sponsorship surrounding them going forward into the 2021 season?
So as a 48 fan, I really love Alex Bowman's car. They stemmed it away from the Jimmy Johnson look, so it's a new era coming in. So I like the Alex Bowman car. I think he's going to do great in that car. But the William Byron one is what sticks out to me the most. In my opinion, that car is so ugly. It's the most ugliest car I think I've ever seen, ever. And for that to be on the racetrack is going to be terrible in my eyes. But I do like it because the 24 is getting a new look, and William Byron is finally getting his own paint scheme. They've been running the flame style for a while, similar to Jeff Gordon's in the early 2000s and the 2000s going up. So I'm excited for Byron to finally get his own paint scheme and get his own style. I've heard that he helped in making the car, but it is so ugly. I don't think it'd be so bad if it didn't have an orange roof on it and an orange hood, but it's just so god-awful ugly.
Well, I mean, you took past the time, but after all of that, I mean, I think 100% you were able to get it right there. Bringing up a lot of points about the William Byron scheme, a lot of what a lot of different other fans have said of that Hendrick Motorsports team. But now it's time. Moving on to Mr. Radford, we're going to be introducing everyone's favorite Rock NASCAR. You can connect to him if you want to at Rock NASCAR 388 on Twitter, and you may hear Terry call him Marty off of his name. He's been rumored to possibly be a possible option after some very controversial comments from the NASCAR community leader to possibly be the new one. And we're going to go ahead and send it over to Mr. Radford for our interview with Mr. Rock NASCAR. Go ahead and take it away, Terry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, introduction time for the man who can get you the best night's sleep in the whole wide world. You can visit old Marty or Rock NASCAR at mypillow.com. Just kidding. He's not the MyPillow guy, but he is the official NASCAR Heat community leader. What's up, Rock?
Official. Interesting.
Well, we'll address the elephant in the room. Your Baltimore Ravens defeated my Tennessee Titans Sunday evening on CBS. It was our ESPN. It was a very emotional game between the two. I know you were cheering and making some good fun. But what was your opinion on the game?
Well, at first I was kind of skeptical. It was like, man, this ain't looking good for us. We're starting to play like crap and making stupid mistakes, and it's like, here we are, we're going to choke and lose another one. It's like every time we get to the playoffs, they choke, and to see them pull it out I was ecstatic. I mean, I was really happy to see that they were able to advance, to the division finals. But
yeah.
Tomorrow is a different story. I mean, they're going up against the Bills. Could be bad weather or not, but if they're able to pull this off tomorrow, this city will erupt.
I do not disagree with you one bit. It's going to be great to see what the Baltimore Ravens can do. We're going to start off with a fan question. We posted this on Twitter, a couple Discords as well, to get some questions out there. Well, one of the questions that came through was from the NNR owner himself, Mr. Coey. What got you into loving NASCAR? We see you on every single stream, you post the winner on the Facebook page from every league, from leagues I've never heard of to leagues that are giant. You share streams for everybody. You know, you're constantly out there active in the NASCAR Heat community chat. You've been a big supporter of everybody. But what really set the fire for you to become a hardcore NASCAR fan?
Well, it started off with me. I started out on Xbox with the NASCAR Heat Evolution, all the way up to Heat 5. I've raced it, been there. And in those 5 years along the way of making great friends as well as losing friends, seeing leagues, watching leagues, drivers, I've noticed that a lot of drivers that were winning races and championships wasn't really getting noticed, or not even a thank you from some league owners or even their peers as much. So then that's when it hit me. I'm going to change this. I mean, yeah, it took away from me racing a lot, which I don't mind. But when I seen that they wasn't getting that, hey, great job, congratulations on your championship, etc. It's like I gotta change this. I gotta let these guys know that all their hard work and determination throughout the whole season to win that championship or to win that race hasn't gone unnoticed. And then that's when I decided I'm going to make a Facebook page. I'm going to follow every league that I can follow, watch every race that I can watch, and start posting these winners and champions and great leagues out there. So that's what got me started doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I joined the page, I think about a year ago, and I started seeing leagues get posted on there that I had no idea. And you share their Twitter stuff. You share, you're constantly an active member across the board on everybody's page. You know, I see you and Rick's, Pete's, mine. You hop into to Ryan Pinnell's. You're across the board the man that watches. My mom's starting to give you a little bit of a run for your money, though. You know, she's right there with you, and she's constantly in there talking and chatting. But so you share so much with the community. You share bits. You subscribe to a ton of channels. What makes you want to come in and listen and watch these leagues, whether it's a league at midnight or a league that starts at 5:30? Kind of what gets your process going that you just are so invested in what these guys are doing?
Mainly because I love racing. I mean, I just, racing is a passion to me. And to be able to go in somebody, I mean, without the streamers, my page and everything probably wouldn't even be possible. Thanks to the streamers, you know, that I'm able to do what I'm doing. But to be able to go in and, for an example, to see a league that's running that's not too well known, that's really got hardly any promotion or recognition, to be able to watch that and then be able to promote that onto the page, and then they see that, it's like, wow, what a great feeling. I mean, it really makes me happy that they notice, and you know, all their work is not going unnoticed.
Man, there's one person that just commented in the chat, actually, and Alpha York said, "You're the man, Rock. American Ethanol has gotten so far thanks to you. Much respect." And I can actually caveat to that one. You know, when I started broadcasting American Ethanol, was kind of, we started during the summer series, and you know, you hopped in, you shared it to the page. You were so big and instrumental on getting American Ethanol off the ground and getting people to come race with us. You know, I thank you personally, but I hear through the grapevine that when NNR goes to iRacing, you are going to be racing over there with them. while I'm broadcasting the race. So what's the difference to you between getting on iRacing and going on NASCAR Heat? Like what's the biggest challenge from you or for you? Because I see you on the leaderboards. So you're on the leaderboards here on Heat. Is that carrying over to iRacing, or is there a kind of a culture shock to get there?
From going from Heat over to iRacing, oh my gosh, it's one hell of a transition. You can't race over on iRacing like you can race on Heat. It's total night and day. But the one thing that mainly put me over to iRacing was I pretty much almost got fed up with the Xbox servers, with leagues lagging out and cars lagging and wrecks, all due to lagging. And as much as we sent emails and complain about it, nothing was being done. Nothing's getting done. And I've always wanted to go to iRacing and try it, and and then when I had the chance to do it, then I went out and bought the whole shaboom, all the equipment, everything that I would need to do that and pursue it over there. And yeah, I was able to join NNR, talk with Coey, and I practiced with those guys a couple fun run races, and there's no comparison a arcade game to a sim game. No comparison whatsoever. And over on iRacing, you definitely have to bring your A game. That's for sure.
Have you ever thought about broadcasting a race with whether it's Pete or Rick or myself, just to do it, just to say, hell, let's do something fun. Would you ever consider coming up and talking during the race and talking about the race with one of us?
I probably doubt it. I would leave that up to you guys, the professionals, to do that. I'm not too much of a talker per se. Now, if I was racing in a car and you guys hopped in and wanted feedback and all, sure, that's no problem. But to come up with you guys, the professionals in the booth, I think I'd wait on that.
Well, you are the unofficial NASCAR Heat community leader in my book, and there's a lot of people out here that are saying, you are the man. Repeats jumped in the chat. Expert hopped in and said, you're a huge part of our success. And man, none of this would be possible. Nothing that we do across the board would be good without somebody who goes out and puts it for. I think we've hit a couple thousand people on that page, or are we still at the 500?
Are we looking at?
Well, we have so Brock, your page has blown up though. So your page is blown up, and people are tuning in and they're enjoying what they're seeing. So can we expect anything bigger, like any more partnerships on there, like more leagues starting up just because of the page, or you have a good rapport across the board with every single league that starts up on Xbox or iRacing?
Well, if it keeps getting bigger, I will definitely probably might have to look into getting some help. Because last night there was 8 leagues racing, and I had 8 Twitch streams pulled up on my monitors to follow each and every one of them. And
so that was my follow-up question: is how many leagues have you watched at the same time, and how good is your internet?
My internet is very, very good. The most that I have had pulled up, Twitch streams pulled up, would be 10 at one time.
Man.
And watching every single one of them. You ought to hear 10 leagues and the drivers in a chat. So it's very challenging, but I mean, I love doing it. It's all about giving back to the community that we all love. And it's up to us to make this community grow and make it better and not arguing and fighting and blocking each other and unfriending, and that's what it's not about. It's about making camaraderies and making this community grow.
Man, I could not agree with you more. You are a legend. You are the man. Across every single platform that we use, there's one name that gets brought up, that if you're not on Rock NASCAR's page, you're crazy. And if you don't make it to his page, then you've done something wrong, because he shares his bits, he shares a subscription, he shares his time with us. And Rock, I appreciate you for being a guest. Kind of wrong timing. I wish it was last week before the Titans-Baltimore game, because I have to be the losing side that has to do this interview with the winning side. But man, you are one of my favorite people. And there's a lot of people in this chat that think you're one of their favorite people as well, that just absolutely love what you do. We're grateful as a community to have you. And I look forward to racing with you over there in the iRacing section. And yeah, I'm probably going to pull you in the booth a couple times during the NNR iRacing League and get your opinions throughout the race. You might help me boost my ratings or anything. I don't know, man.
Well, it's going to be real interesting, because I think Thursday nights is a busy night for league races. So it's like, okay, I'm going to be iRacing on Thursday, and so I'm going to have at least 5 or 6 streams pulled up as well to try to keep an eye on things, to know, who wins what or who's the champion of what league. So it's going to be a real challenge, but I'm up for it.
We might have to pull you some help down there, but Rock, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Your legend doesn't go unnoticed. Nothing that you've done has gone unnoticed. But thanks for your time. And we know there's a couple leagues that are about to start up. I think it's 7 Eastern time. Got some leagues about to kick off. OMA's about to kick off. Me and old Xperts going to do that race.
Yes, sir.
But thanks for coming on to the show. Thanks for coming on, and you're welcome anytime. You just tell me when, and you're plugged in. Like you're welcome here. You got GOAT status. You do whatever you want, Rock. You walk in, walk out. You can leave the door open. We don't care.
That might needs to be a new role in the Discord. I might add that in there. GOAT status role.
Your GOAT status. You can come in, put your feet on the couch, stomp your feet. The fridge is always open.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Very, very heartfelt. And like I said, let's make this community grow that we all love.
Certainly. And
y'all heard the NASCAR community leader. Make the NASCAR Heat server great again. Let's do this. Oh, wait. Pete said, hold on a second.
Hold
what
on.
Do you got, Pete?
Hold on. We got the suspense. Here we go. Pete's in the chat.
What do you got? Repeat 1975 said, hold on a second. I believe he has something he wants to add to this as well.
Drum roll. I'm waiting for him.
Another legend in himself.
Definitely.
If you're in this chat, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, whatever we're streaming on right now, I'm telling you now, get your butts over to Repeat 1975's channel, NNR, which, by the way, cheap plug. If you want the fastest coffee mugs during breakfast time, nnrleague.com. Cheap plug, baby. Mic drop. Hit that up.
Going to be added to the partners list here in a short little while, definitely. Rock, if Jay Pinnell came to his senses and asked you to be the real community leader, would you take it? That's Repeat's question from the chat right now.
One, I would be shocked if they contact me. But if they do contact me, absolutely. I would take the position to make sure each and every one of you guys and what I've been doing is taken care of. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Can we start the Twitter hashtag? Yeah, I think it's called a hashtag. Hashtag Rock for Community Leader.
It's not like that.
On board with that?
Pete, I think you started. Somebody started the hashtag. I seen it posted. Who started the hashtag, or what is the hashtag? Because I know you've been behind it for a while. Or who is it? Alpha, Pete, one of y'all in chat. I think y'all know it pretty well. Which one is it? I know one of y'all have to know it. I don't know the official
Hashtag
tag.
make Rock the community leader.
Yeah.
We'll keep the trend going on our stream. Every stream we do, we will put the sign up, make Rock the community leader.
I'll make the
Because
graphic
you
for
are, like I said, you are the GOAT. You're the GOAT you have GOAT status anywhere you go. You're welcome on any of my streams to come talk, to come play. And honestly, Rock, I want to do when I get home, I want to sit down and I want to talk to you more. I want to have a full blown conversation with you about everything, about the page blowing up. I want to do something cool for you. And who knows, maybe we'll get to a race together.
Possibly,
I planned on when my stream got bigger, I want to give tickets away to people, but I couldn't think of a better person to give some tickets away to than to you. And we can meet up somewhere and go to an awesome NASCAR race together. And you deserve everything that people give you, all the praise that we throw out there. Everybody loves you. We all love you from the bottom of our heart. You are the man. GOAT for the rest of his life. Rock NASCAR community leader. Yeah.
I mean, that all together right there, I think you summed it up. And I think the best thing to say as far as that goes is throwing that out there, hinting at different stuff for the future. Definitely got to love it. Love you, Rock NASCAR. Got to love what you do for the community. And once again, like Terry said it, but I'm going to say it again as well. Thank you for joining us on this episode, man. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on this show. I sure appreciate it, guys.
Always, man. But uh, like uh, like the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and we have officially hit the checkered flag here on the Experts of Racing Sportscast for this episode. Once again, just gonna go ahead and head on down. Join us next week, Fridays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, as we have another one of these Sportscast episodes and build up to bigger and better things. This is the first one as an affiliate status. Repeat Hardy in chat, rockin' community. That hashtag rockin' community, that may be it. But heading into next week, definitely do not want to miss another episode as we have officially hit affiliate status. If you like what you see, definitely be sure to follow. And if you want to see more content and want to keep up more with the Experts of Racing community, be sure to follow on Twitter or Instagram at Expert Racing, or on Facebook at the Experts of Racing Sportscast. But be sure to catch us right after this on Balls Fan 88's channel, as me and him are going to be presenting the Alme Extra Truck Series developmental division as they tackle Daytona. My drivers are going to be in there with a bunch of other talented drivers as well, trying to make their way into the Alme Xfinity and Cup Series. And you definitely don't want to miss that. Of course, with us two personalities up there in the booth. But once again, for me and VolsFan88, Robert Harding as well, and of course, everyone's favorite, Rock NASCAR, we want to thank you for joining us on this episode, and we will see you next time.